Welcome students to the lecture on fibers for composite. We will be continuing with the unit 4, which is the fabrication of composites. The topic of today's discussion is on preform molding. In our last lectures we have been discussing about blow molding and pultrusion molding. Now we will move on to the next molding process, which is the preform molding. Before going into the molding process, first we need to know what is meant by preform. The specific assemblage or arrangement of continuous or discontinuous fibrous materials into a form which becomes the reinforcement for a composite is known as the textile composite preform. So you arrange the continuous or discontinuous materials into a particular form, and that becomes the reinforcement for a composite, that is known as the textile composite preform. Hope you know very well. If a composite means there will be a matrix and there will be a reinforcement, you will combine both in different processes. The combination will be different, but in the broad perspective you will combine the reinforcement and the matrix to produce the composite. So here, for making the preform, what you do is you take either a continuous fiber or a discontinuous fiber material and you convert it into a particular form, so that that will become the reinforcement for a composite. That is called as the preform. So in this preform molding, instead of using the flat reinforcing layers such as continuous strand mats, the starting material in the process can be a preform that already has the shape of the desired product. See, for example, if you remember the pultrusion molding, the reinforcement form was in the form of a creel. Through the creel, uh, the strands were woven strands were the strands were coming through the creel, and then it was immersed in the resin tank, and then after it was immersed in the resin tank, it passed through passed through other process, and a preform was made, and the process was continuing. But here the raw material itself, the reinforcement material itself, is a preform. So whatever the desired product shape is required, that shape itself you initially provide as a fiber reinforcement. So the reinforcement used is a preform itself. That is why it is called as the preform molding. What is the example for this preform molding? The example for preform molding is liquid composite molding process. Through this liquid composite molding process, you can make the preform molding. So let us see what is meant by liquid composite molding process. Liquid composite molding process is a closed molding process. So this liquid composite molding, it is abbreviated as LCM. In this LCM processes, a pre-mixed liquid thermoset resin is injected into a preform in a closed mold. There is a closed mold, and you will first step in the process of preform molding is you will first make a preform, and then you will keep the preform in the mold, and then you will use a pre-mixed liquid thermoset resin and inject it inside the preform, so that once you inject it, the liquid spreads through the preform, it coats the fibers, fills the space between the fibers, expels the air, and finally it cures and transforms into a matrix. So there are two LCM processes. This liquid composite is a term. Under this, there are two processes. One is the resin transfer molding and another is the structural reaction injection molding. The process is effective for production of structural parts with low cost and low to medium production quantities. So this is effective for production of structural parts with low cost and low to medium production quantities. In today's discussion, we will see the resin transfer molding, which is the example for preform molding. So what are the raw materials for this process? The fiber reinforcement, you can use glass, carbon, aramid, and you can also use natural fibers. In natural fibers, you can use hemp, sisal type of fibers you can use in the natural fibers, but mostly the high performance fibers like glass, carbon and aramid is used. Matrix, what matrices you can use? Epoxy, polyester, vinyl ester, then methyl methacrylate. These kind of matrices you can use. If you observe these matrices, you can see one thing, all are thermoset type of a matrix. Now first step is the manufacturing of preforms. How to manufacture a preform? There are various methods of producing the preform. One of them is the spray process, in which 12.7 to 76.2 millimeter long fibers chopped from continuous fiber rovings are sprayed onto a pre-shaped screen. Spray up process is one of the process to make the preform, where you take some chopped fibers from the continuous rowing and then you spray it on the pre-shaped screen, whatever shape, final shape you want, and then you are applying vacuum to the rear side of the screen so that the fiber will securely hold on to the screen. And over that, what you do, you spray some binder to keep the fibers in the place and to maintain the preformed shape, so that once you put some binder over the fiber, so that the fibers will hold the binder and make it into a form of a preformed shape. So continuous strand mats containing these random fibers can be preformed by stamping, operating using a simple press and pre-shaped die. There is a stamping arrangement where once you put the take the chopped fibers and then put the resin along with it, and then if you just stamp it, so that a particular shape can be given. If you keep it in the mold surface and then if you give some press to it, you will get a particular shape, so that your preform will be ready. You can use any type of binder, like a thermoplastic binder or a thermosetting binder can be used. These are available for retaining the formed shape after stamping. Stamping is nothing but like a pressing. This is one of the method where you can make the preform. There are various methods are there. You can use the textile weaving process also, or you can use the braiding process also. For example, if you want to use a textile type of a material, textile type of a process, in that case what you need to do, you should take the fabric and then sew it with the help of glass, carbon or aramid type of a thread to make a particular layers. You can make a particular fabric layers, and then you can put the same, repeat the same process with the binder, whatever the binder you have applied. With that you can make a preform. For example, braiding is another process where you can make the preform. So braiding is, you know very well about braiding. The shoelaces, whatever is used in the shoes, those are all the braided structures. Those braided structures are usually used for making the tubular preforms. So the different shape of preforms can be produced. If you want a tubular preform, then you can use braiding. If you want a normal 2D preform, you can use a spray process, or if you want a 3D type of a shape to the product, you can use a textile fabric also to make a 3D structure. So there are various ways in which you can make the preform. So the fiber reinforcement which is used here is the preform. So the fibers like glass, carbon, aramid or natural fibers are available. You can use them to convert it into a preform. So preform is the raw material for this preform molding process. So this is the brief diagram you can see here. This is the schematic of the resin transfer molding. This RTM stands for resin transfer molding. You can see here the fiber mat rolls from where it comes, and then it is converted into a particular shape and into a preform press, and these preforms are placed in the mold with the foam core. For example, these are the two jaws actually, and you keep whatever shape you have made by using the continuous or discontinuous fibers, and then you just give some stamping to it so that you will get a particular shape. This is how the preform is made. We will see how the preform is made in detail in the further discussions. Second step, first step is the manufacturing of preform. First you have to make the preform. Second step is the resin transfer molding. So now we have come to the molding process. So in this molding process, what we have with us, we have the preform made. We have made the preform through any kind of process like a textile weaving process or a braiding process or a spray process. Through any one of these processes, we have made the preform. And once the preform is ready, then we can go for the resin transfer molding. So before going into the resin transfer molding, first step in this resin transfer molding is you have a mold surface. All these type of molding like similar to hand lathe, this has a mold surface. In this mold surface, what you need to do is you have to apply some release gel. If you apply the release gel, what will happen is this once the composite is manufactured, you can easily remove the composite. If you do not use the release gel, then what will happen, the composite whatever you have made, that will stick to the mold and it will be difficult to remove, and when you force it to remove, it will create some defects in the composite that is made. So several layers of dry continuous strand mat, woven roving or cloth are placed in the bottom half of the two-part mold. This mold will contain an upper part and a lower part. You can keep a dry continuous strand mat or woven roving or cloth, anything, but now in our case you have a preform that is already made. So the preform is the raw material for this resin transfer molding. So once you keep the preform between the lower half of the mold, which is the mold surface, and if you close the mold with the upper half of the surface, then what you do is you inject the resin. You inject the catalyzed liquid resin, which means a resin which is mixed with the catalyst, is injected into a mold via a centrally located sprue. I will just show you a diagram so that you can now clearly understand. You can see this is the schematic diagram. This is the lower half of the mold and this is the upper half of the mold, and inside in between this there is a small type of a layer that is shown here, which is called as the preform. This preform only you have made it through the spray process or a textile weaving or a braiding process. So whatever shape of a preform that you have made, that if you keep it inside this mold cavity, depending upon the shape of this mold cavity, the final composite product also will come in the same shape. So you have the lower half of the mold in which you have kept the preform, and you have the upper half which you are going to close it, and at the side you have a pumping unit. This pumping unit is nothing but the resin injection unit. Here you pump the resin and the catalyst. The resin is mixed with the catalyst to accelerate the process. Once these both are mixed, and here where there is a mixing head, this will mix both the resin and catalyst and it will inject it through this injection port. This injection port will deliver the mixed resin catalyst liquid into this preform. And you can see at the sides there is a vent port here. You can see this vent port. This vent port actually allows the whatever air that is present in the mold surface, extra whatever air is there, that should be removed from the mold surface. Otherwise what will happen, it will create some voids on the formed composite and it will affect the mechanical properties of the composite. So that whatever air is present, that has to be removed. So that air is removed through this vent port. Okay, so this is the brief description of the resin transfer molding. This is what is explained here. The mold is closed and a catalyzed liquid resin is injected into the mold via a centrally located sprue. This is the centrally located sprue. So the resin injection point is usually at the lowest point of the mold cavity, which you have seen now. The injection pressure is in the range of 69 to 690 kilopascal, which is around 10 to 100 pounds per square inch. This injection pressure is nothing but that how much pressure you are injecting the resin. That is the injection pressure. As the resin flows and spreads throughout the mold, it fills the space between the fiber and yarns in the dry fiber preform, displaces the entrapped air through the air vents in the mold, and coats the fiber. So once you give some pressure to inject the resin, that resin will flow and it will impregnate the preform. Whatever preform you have manufactured, you would have kept it there, so that the resin will completely impregnate the preform. So once it impregnates the preform, it will also simultaneously, there is a uh, vacuum chamber which will actually suck out the entrapped air, which I have already told you. There are some air vent which is shown here. This vent port will allow the entrapped air which is in the cavity to go out, so that two things take place. One is the resin injection and another is the displacement of the entrapped air through the air vents in the mold, so that the fibers get uniformly coated. So depending upon the type of the resin catalyst system used, curing is performed either at room temperature or at an elevated temperature in the air circulating oven. This depends upon the resin catalyst system. So depending upon the resin catalyst system, the curing can be performed either at the room temperature or at the elevating temperature in the air circulating oven. So once it is cured, then what is the next step? You have to cool the composite. The composite should be cooled before it is taken out. So the cured part is first cooled, and after that the cured part is pulled out of the mold. It is often necessary to trim the parts at the outer edges to conform to the exact dimensions. So that depending upon the exact shape requirement, you can trim the outer edges so that it will conform to the exact dimensions. This figure you have already seen, which I have explained you. Now we will see an animation in which you will very clearly understand what happens in this process. It consists of three phases. One is the phase 1, which is the binder application. Now you see here there is a fabric from which there is a, through the roller, the fabric is passed through the binder. A micronized binder is applied on the fabric, you can see here. And next step is binder is heated. Once the binder is heated, what will happen? The binder melts under the temperature and then stick to the fabric. Okay, you have the fabric and then you have added the binder. Now the binded fabric is ready to be used. This next we go for the phase 2, which is the preform preparation. See, now it is the preform preparation where whatever fabrics plies are there that are cut and then stacked in layers. Why we are keeping it in layers? Depending upon the thickness of the preform that we require, we take the several binded fabric plies are cut and then stacked. Then it moves on to the stamping press. The stack is warmed up under press, so that once it is warmed up under press, the binder whichever is there inside, that will get melted and it will allow the layers all to get stick together. Okay, then it is cooled and then it is taken out. So here the binder acts as an adhesive which stiffen the preform on cooling. Now the resin transfer molding process. This is the resin transfer molding process, which is the phase 3. A preform is introduced in the injection mold. This is the injection mold where we are going to provide the resin. So the vacuum pump, which is shown here, will remove the entrapped air in the preform. It will remove the entrapped air and resin is injected with the pressure with the vacuum assistance. You can see here, once again I will show you. You can see here, this is the vacuum pump. This is the vacuum pump from where it will remove the entrapped air through the vent, which we have seen in the diagram also. And at the right side you can see there is a resin injector. You just now see the animation once again. The vacuum pump removes the air entrapped in the preform. The resin is injected under pressure with vacuum assistance. So once the resin is injected, it will start flowing through the sides and it will impregnate the resin. The resin impregnates the fiber reinforcement, which is the preform. You can see how it is impregnated. And once it impregnates completely, then what is the next step? The next step is the vacuum is stopped and when the resin exits the mold. So the resin supply is completed. The mold is heated up and resin is polymerized. We do the polymerization. Whatever resin is inside, that will get polymerized to the fiber reinforcement, which is the preform. And then it is cooled and then the part is demolded. So now this is the preform molded composite. Okay, I think now you have clearly understood what is the preform molding, that is the resin transfer molding. So now coming back to our discussion, now we'll move on to the further discussion, which is the process parameter. There are 4 process parameters involved in this. One is the resin viscosity, injection time, injection pressure, and temperature in the mold. Resin viscosity is one of the important process parameter in which the resin, whatever you are using along with the catalyst, that should have the adequate viscosity to actually wet out the fiber. It should actually completely impregnate the fibers, assembly of fibers, that is which is the preform. So if the viscosity is not adequate, in that case what will happen, it will create some defect in the composite. Next is the injection time, that is the how much time you inject the resin, that is one of the process parameter. And another is the injection pressure, which you have seen. This injection pressure is very important. And next is the temperature in the mold. So the temperature in the mold depends upon what type of a resin or catalyst system that you are using. So both the injection pressure and the temperature in the mold is very important, so that you have to control both the parameters to arrive at the proper composite formation. So now coming to the advantages. What are the advantages of this process? There are various advantages. First advantage is composite parts with good surface finish on both the sides of the product is obtained. On both the sides you can get the proper finishing effect. Next is any combination of reinforced material in any orientation can be obtained. So this is one of the great advantage of this method, because here the raw material used itself is a preform, so that you have the choice actually to make the whatever requirement. According to the requirement, you can make a 2D or a 3D type of a structure, so that you have the control over the orientation. In any kind of a orientation you can stack the fibers and then you can make a preform. Next is fast cycle time can be achieved through temperature controlled device. If you optimize the temperature and the pressure, then you can control the time of application also, to how much time it resides inside. The preform is residing inside the mold, that you can have the control, so that at a less time you can make the composite. Compared with the compression molding process, this resin transfer molding has a very low tooling cost and simple mold clamping requirements. It has a very low tooling cost and simple mold clamping requirements. In some cases, you can have a ratchet clamp or a series of nuts and bolts can be used to hold the two mold halves together. So it has a very low tooling cost, where only a small type of a mold is involved, where upper and lower half you can easily use it with a very simple mold clamping requirement. And it is a low pressure process, therefore parts can be resin transfer molded in low tonnage presses. Another advantage is ability to encapsulate metal insert, stiffeners, washers and so on within the molded laminate. In the molded composite itself, you can actually insert some metals and some stiffeners and some washers also within the molded laminate. It is also possible to encapsulate a foam core between the top and the bottom preforms of a hollow part, which adds stiffness to the structure, allow molding of complex 3D shapes in one piece. If you can, this is a little flexible kind of a process where you can even keep a foam core also between the top and bottom preforms of a hollow part. So that what will happen once you keep the foam core, so that what will happen, the stiffness of the product that is formed will increase, so that it allows molding of complex 3D shapes in one piece itself. It allows the molding of complex 3D shapes in one piece. Offers a cost saving alternative to labor intensive bag molding process or capital intensive compression molding process. So cost saving alternative is there when compared with the labor intensive bag molding process, which is one of the very labor intensive process, or the compression molding process, which is capital intensive. This is a preform molding, which is the resin transfer molding, is a cost saving alternative. Another great advantage of this method is it is possible to produce near net shape of the composite product with controlled fiber orientation. Hope you may be knowing what is meant by near net shape. Near net means something which is exact to the requirement that you can make from this process, because you already make the composite where you have controlled the fiber orientation. So it is possible to produce the near net shape of the composite product. So this also has certain disadvantages. One disadvantage is mold cavity limits the size of the composite. So you have seen the picture that mold cavity, whatever you are using, that depending upon that size only, your final product size will be decided. So that if you want to make a big size, then big size of the product, then you have to go for use some big mold cavity. So this is a limitation, one of the limitation. And another limitation is there is a limitation on reinforcing materials due to flow and resin saturation of fibers. So there is a limitation here where the flow and the resin saturation, where the resin flow, which is the viscosity, where we have seen in the process parameter, the resin viscosity is very important parameter. So if that is not regulated, so that what will happen, it will not allow the fibers to completely get impregnated, so that will create some defective product. So this is a limitation on the reinforcing materials. Now coming back to the applications. See, this resin transfer molding is used for making complex parts. Complex body parts can be manufactured by this resin transfer molding. What are the products that can be manufactured? You can manufacture automotive body parts, cabinet walls, chairs, bench seats, hoppers, water tanks, bathtubs, and then boat hulls. It has a diverse products can be manufactured by this resin transfer molding process. So now we have come to the end of the lecture. The resin transfer molding is one of the process in the manufacturing of composite. So I will conclude here with this applications. You can go through the slides. It's a very simple process. So this is one of the example for preform molding. So thanks for listening. Have a nice day.